Hey Pisces Ascendant, it's Nicole from outerinnerspace, and in this video we're going to be talking about your chart ruler, or in your case your chart rulers, because the way I see it is since your ascendant sign sets up your natal chart orientation, when you tune into the qualities of your chart ruler, which is the ruler of your ascendant sign, so for you guys that is Jupiter and also Neptune, then you can tune into this baseline frequency, because when you consider how all the different placements in your natal chart and different aspects have their own energetic vibration, your chart ruler being the ruler, it kind of has this undertone, like this bass tone. And when you tune into the qualities of those planets, then you can kind of come back to this more authentic vibration. And that's helpful for when you feel scattered, or when you feel out of alignment, or when you feel you've taken on too much energy of other people and you're kind of operating in this field which is influenced by external stimuli, when what really is required is coming back to your center and your own power, and from that place then you can direct your energy in more effective ways. So you can kind of consider the chart ruler to be like a main spirit guide, and those qualities just help you tune in back to your own sense of equilibrium, because we're all multi-dimensional and it's important to be aware of the different vibrations that your natal chart gives off. And so that can help with things like timing and pacing, and if you are feeling like you're subject to external conditions too much, then you can tune back into this and it returns you to that harmonic state. So once you've listened to some of the ideas that I'll share in this video, you can also look to where your Jupiter is placed and your Neptune is placed in your natal chart, both the sign and the house, because that's going to add a different dimension to the story. And then you can extrapolate on these ideas and make it more personal to you based on where those planets are placed and those specific energetic vibrations, and then you kind of mix them together and create a more specific story. So the notes that you see in this video you can grab from my website, and there's a link below. So Pisces Ascendant, I did this little drawing of all the ascendant signs, like a visual of the timeline that you guys are running on, and as you can see it's very non-linear, and that's got a lot to do with the idea of Jupiter and Neptune being Jupiter being quite gaseous and Neptune being very etheric, is that you guys aren't really running on a linear timeline. And so kind of just keeping that in mind, like you are here on Earth and there are these social constructs that are applied to our day-to-day and, you know, work, and this idea of being somewhere at a certain time. But for you, it's way broader than that. So if ever you are feeling powerless in the sense that you don't quite fit in, or that you're seeing things in a different way, know that that's perfectly okay, and that's exactly what you're here to embody and embrace in this lifetime, is the idea that things aren't what they seem. Like the 3D world is just one representation of our experience, but there is so much more going on. And as a Pisces Ascendant, you're probably very aware of that, but just knowing that and like validating yourself and, you know, bringing that power back inside of you to the realization that you are operating on many timelines at once, and things are very subconscious and unconscious and etheric, that can kind of help you equalize your energy in many ways. So where you can, with that mutability of Pisces and the axis with Virgo, if you can arrange your lifestyle to have more flexibility in the sense of, you know, like deadlines or working 9 to 5, if you can kind of bring in that mutable aspect to those details, then you'll find that your day-to-day operations can run a lot smoother when you're not kind of faced with these harsh time limit restrictions that can happen here in the 3D world, because your experience is going to be very multi-layered. So giving yourself the space to expand into these other realms, whether that be working from home sometimes or working for yourself so you can set your own schedule. And I know that's not possible for everyone, but I mean, if you have a dream, you can achieve it. It's just a matter of alignment. So tuning into those kinds of factors can really help. And you can get glimpses of what that may be by trusting your intuition and taking time out of the 3D world and out of the influence of others and the impressions that have been imparted on you through your childhood and that kind of thing. And social norms, and really trusting what it is that you feel and you see. And it may be the case that, you know, the profession that you see yourself in, or your life work isn't something that's here on earth yet, but part of why you're here is to embody that and to create that because of the Neptunian energy of the other worlds and that incredible creative vibe and that sense of being able to understand the collective and kind of where we're heading and also where we've been. When you think of like Atlantean energy and ancient Egypt energy and these kinds of things, Lemurian energy, then you kind of sense that while there are these dreamy aspects and these beautiful future visions and these utopian ideals, it's about also realizing that you are here on earth at this time to kind of bring those back in. So one thing for you guys would be a really wonderful thing to do would be to have a look at what your earth sign is. And your earth sign is the opposite to your sun sign by exact degree. And this is work by Chrissy Blaze, who wrote this book called Earth, Astrology's Missing Planet, and basically it talks about how all the planets in the solar system give off this energetic vibration, and we see that in our natal chart, but the Earth is not really considered in that. And when you consider how the Earth rotates around the Sun, or the Sun rotates around the Earth, however you want to see it, we've got this planet that's vibrating beneath our feet. And when we tune into our earth sign and we tune into those qualities of our earth sign and where it's placed in our natal chart, then we can kind of ground here, and that helps us equalize our energy and realizing that we are in human form here in the 3D world. And for a Pisces Ascendant or Pisces energy in general, that grounding effect and that connection with nature and the natural elements and the cycle of things and a broader scope view of timelines, it can really help you calibrate to your purpose here, and also, or even just purifying your energy field in natural environments and using, earth elements and grounding and communion with nature and the cycles and just the idea of cycles in general to clear out the energy field and release anything that you might have absorbed through others. So if you're in a state of overthinking or anything like that about your purpose, or just like feeling stuck, or just you've picked up too much energy from other people, then that can really help ground your energy. Because as a Pisces, you've got this ability to tap into the shared sentience, like all this information that's going on around you, all this information that's just in the fourth dimension, like the astral realms. And a lot of that, because you're so absorbent, like when you think of Pisces energy and Jupiter and Neptune being gaseous and very expansive, it's also very absorbent. And you've probably experienced a lot of this in your lifetime of being able to pick up and take on the energies of other people. But when you think about Pisces and Virgo axis, it's about bringing in that earthy aspect and applying that Virgo discernment to know what's yours and what isn't yours, and what is other people's pain, and not taking that on as your own pain, but learning how to process those emotions and those feelings and those sensations, and grounding yourself to ensure that you're kind of not corrupted by everyone else's energy. And when you do that, you get more in tune with your own energy and your own unique gifts, and your intuition becomes more potent and accurate, and you're not questioning whether something's coming from fear. But doing that work, it helps kind of refine those extrasensory perceptions. And in that space, when the energy's flowing and when you're not kind of stuck on, considering everyone else, then you kind of open up the channels for divine inspiration to come through. So working on bringing yourself into your own energy and letting things wash through you, whether that be going into the ocean for a swim or into a lake, or having a shower or a salt bath, and just letting the energy field purify by that means, can really help you flush out that energy and then know the difference between what's yours and what's other people's. Because with that mutable water, it's all about change and processing and just circulating these emotional vibrations that are in the air. Because your body is an antenna of sorts, it's a vibrational cluster of energy. When we're doing things like too many toxic substances like caffeine or alcohol or weed or whatever it is, I'm not saying any of that's wrong, but I'm just saying that you would have probably experienced how much that affects you, and whether that be through shaking or just having like really high beta waves in the mind of like overthinking or just like not being able to concentrate, because you are like this, etheric being. Those kinds of toxins can have an effect, and that also comes back to that Virgo axis with Pisces of that purification when it comes to sixth house. Not saying like don't do any of that ever. I'm just saying like notice what it does do to you, and then you can work to find like a happy medium where you're not constantly in a state of doing those things to escape any kind of feelings, but it's more of a enhancement to your experience. And also doing things like body work, self-massage, or going to get a massage, or seeing a chiropractor or an acupuncturist or radix therapy. Anything that helps circulate any stored energy around the body can really help you process this kind of thing and flush out anything that you have stored. Because when we're very young and we haven't been taught how to process emotions or how to differentiate our energy from other people, we kind of store this energy in our body, and if we don't tend to it, then these little clusters of energy get compacted, and then we start experiencing manifestations of this in the outside world. That's that axis again. But it does come back to you to take on the responsibility of realizing that this is an occurrence, and doing these things to tune into the body and to purify the body and clearing the energy field can really help. And as a Neptune and Jupiter influence, this is all about visions and astral realms and other worlds. And so combining that kind of body work, like say you're getting a massage, just noticing the imagery that comes up, and it could be really different past life imagery that you wouldn't expect, but as they hit like a certain part of the body where this trauma is stored cellularly, then like you can do the breath work to flush that out, and when you do that, that kind of purifies your body, your energy. And as long as you kind of flush it out with water, then you kind of creating space for new cells to form and getting rid of that old stuff and that grief and that pain, any kind of victim mentality. And it's definitely a process, because no doubt this stuff has taken lifetimes to accumulate. But it does come back to the fact that as the Pisces Ascendant, you're kind of here to bridge other dimensions here in the 3D world and show people that there's more to life than what we see. There's so much happening that isn't seen. And because you guys have such an incredible imaginative faculty that comes from that 12th house energy and that Neptune Pisces Jupiter energy, you've got this incredible vision and perception and creative ability, and it just is a matter of realizing that you're running on a very specific, unique timeline, and so is everyone else. So the more that you can tune into your own energy and tend to your own body and your own field, then you're going to become more of this like visceral expression of that otherworldly energy. And when you do that, like as you walk down the street, you're influencing other people in this really beautiful way without really needing to say much at all. And so embracing that part of your existence and the idea that we are multidimensional and you are acting as kind of a bridge here on Earth, and grounding your energy here as well to help you sift through the confusion of all the social conditioning that you may have picked up in your lifetime. Being such an absorbent and sensitive individual, then you kind of start to purify that field. And when you do that, all your psychic perceptions and your clairaudience and your claircognizance and all those kind of things become really enhanced. And then you kind of start operating in this other level, which can really be helpful for a lot of people who you come across. So paying attention to your dreams is also a wonderful thing, keeping a dream journal. And it's not really going to be a direct message, but when you wake up and you kind of play out a few of the details, you can kind of see where your consciousness is pointing you to tend to, and that might point to like an old wound that hasn't been processed. But with that information that comes from your dreams, your subconscious, that can really help you know where to put your attention, and then you can apply that level of curiosity to determining what that might be worth, and then also paying attention to the body sensations that you get when you think about that kind of thing, and honing in on those specific areas and applying breath or going for a massage and really concentrating on those specific areas of the body where you feel aches and pains, or tension or blocked energy, then that's kind of an indicator. And as well, for you doing things that are creative to transmute that energy is excellent, because letting your subconscious take over by painting, taking note of color, really letting your sensory perceptions take over, and that sense of creative flow where you're not really thinking too much, but you're just letting it happen organically. Whether that be creating music or writing, or it could even just be, tending to your body in an aesthetic way, or arranging the house, that kind of stuff. Like just any form of creative expression can really help you tune into those Neptunian, Jupiterian vibes and expand your energy field and, purify it, because it's like an energetic feedback loop. And just as a side note, if you're a woman, I've created this beautiful resource called Periods, Brainwaves and Astrology, and essentially it's about connecting to the body and tuning into the subtle senses and the cosmic timing that helps you kind of calibrate to your own timing and your own rhythm, and the cosmic cycles as well. So there's a link to that below if you want some more information on that. And the last thing I'll leave you with, Pisces Ascendant, is just to apply that Virgo discernment, like the opposite of your sign, because we always are just working along that spectrum, right? So you've got as much Virgo energy as you have Pisces energy. It's about those daily habits of tending to your energy field and creating that compound effect of little details daily that helps you tune into these things. So it's not a matter of making a big sweeping change. It's all in the small details that are going to help you, and applying discernment as well to the atmosphere that you enter into. So just understanding that your energy field is very absorbent and expansive with that Jupiter energy. So being conscious of those places that you go and the people that you attract. And if you are in a pattern of attracting, harsher energies because you can tolerate it, because you are like that Pisces and forgiveness energy, like really having a look at whether that is depleting you or whether you are getting back that same loving energy. Because often when we're so absorbent, we spend our lives trying to please others, but it is about coming back into your own energy and, really asking yourself and being really honest with yourself if it really is serving you, and being that mutable water and being changeable, and just realizing that you in your own field is more than enough. And not only that, it's incredibly beautiful and potent, and it should be preserved and really nurtured and honored and cherished. So just not being loose with your energy for the sake of, keeping up appearances or pleasing others, if it's at the detriment to your own well-being. And also determining the boundaries that you've established in your life, whether they exist, because with Neptune and 12th house energy, there aren't boundaries there. It's limitless and it spans many lifetimes. So knowing when enough is sometimes a hard thing for Pisces energy. So realizing what a boundary is and what your values are, then that can really help you come back to your center and come back to your core. And there are a lot of wonderful resources on YouTube that can help with that kind of thing. So Pisces Ascendant, I'm going to leave this here, but if you're interested in more content like this, I do fortnightly self-healing, energy healing and astrology notes on my Patreon. And I hope you found some value in this, and I'm wishing you well.